In 1996, I was approached by the legendary jazz composer, musician Joe Seeley. He was writing an album called Africville Suite, which was dedicated to his father, who was born in Africville. I was to write the lyrics to this beautiful jazz song, which was supposed to deal with what it was like to grow up in a community that was established just after the War of 1812. It was a black community of about 400 strong that was totally dependent on itself. You know, though Halifax taxed Africville heavily and sent all its unsavory things through Africville, like all its sewage, prisons went through there, trains went through there, disposal sites went through there. You know, Africville was a proud, fiercely independent community, and it stayed proud and close and economically dependent and spiritual, almost like an extended family for generation after generation. And then in the mid-60s, Africville was just bulldozed to the ground. Urban renewal is what the Halifax government called it. And families, grandchildren, grandparents, great-grandparents, who didn't leave the house found that their homes were being bulldozed from underneath them, collapsing on top of them, as if it was like the hurricane in New Orleans. Well, when I started writing the song about Africville, I had to assume the voice of Joe's father. You know, imagining what it would be like to have been raised in this community with such a close family spiritual spirit and then being totally torn apart. It was a hard song for me to write, but it was an important song for me to write. I sent it to Joe. He was so moved by the lyric he couldn't even talk to me about it, actually. His wife called me. He recorded that song and another song I wrote with him on his Africville Suite CD, and he won a Juno for Jazz Album of the Year. Well, I decided to record Africville Skies on my album. I had retitled Africville Skies because I liked the image of that title. And a funny thing happened, as I was recording this song in Nashville, I was with the musicians who I'm almost grown up with. They're all about my age. I love these guys. And my goal of the whole intimate album was to sing live off the floor with musicians. I wanted to be matching them note for note. And I had trained my voice to be in perfect shape for this record. And when we started to perform Africville, something strange happened. By the time I got to the third verse, I just broke down and I couldn't sing it. I just kept thinking about what happened to those citizens of Africville, and then I started thinking about Africa, and I started thinking about slaves. And I was so overwhelmed by sadness that I just broke down, and I couldn't sing. And so the band got through the song. They did a magnificent take, and I knew that the time was going to have to come for me to go back to the studio on my own with no one in the room and sing the song, because it just went to a place too deep in terms of my family history. So, the first few times I performed Africville Skies, I would actually have to wear sunglasses because I was afraid that I was going to start crying as I sang the song. But I've subsequently toughened up. So now I think I've finally gotten to the point where I'm man enough that I can sing that song without breaking down. But above and beyond everything else, Africville is a celebration of our forebears, of their pride, of their strength, of their ferocious spirit. I think we should all be proud of where we came from, who we came from, and what our history is, regardless of our race, religion, or cultural background.
Africville, you'll never know how your love